Okay, I'm back working on my 2011 Ford Explorer here today. Had the belt that came apart on here, so we're going to be replacing that. Okay, and here is the part number that I got. Hopefully this is going to fit. It is different from the one that was on there. Differently made. It actually feels like it's a little bit better made though. So we're just going to go ahead and get under the hood here and get started. Okay, so we got the hood up, and just to show you what's left of this, luckily it wasn't but a half a mile from the house when this came apart. So I thought the belt was okay, but I really didn't look at it that closely, so I'm not sure if there's something going on or I got a problem with maybe the alternator or the compressor or something trying to seize up and burning this up, but I don't really know how old the belt was, so I'm gonna have to get it back. Obviously there's no way to really do a comparison. There's not much left of this, so we're just gonna go ahead and just dig whatever little bit of belt we got left out of here. Had to get under that tensioner and get all the pieces. Definitely wait till your vehicle is completely cooled off. You're going to be burning your arm on this engine here, so you'll want to make sure that it's been setting for a bit and it's completely cool. Okay, here's what says left of this, and while I was removing this, I went ahead and I spun the AC compressor face and everything. I was just trying to determine if in fact it was locked up, but it's spinning freely. And I spun the alternator, and it doesn't appear to be, of course I haven't heard any noise or anything, there doesn't appear to be any problem there. So I'm hoping it's just this belt's time and it just came apart. I mean, like I said, it doesn't look just horrible, but you know, by the dry rot, but it did come apart. So usually, you know, once it starts, it just completely goes from there. Like I said, go ahead and just take the time to spin your alternator pulley, and then lay underneath there a little bit, and you can actually get under here with your arm. Now I've got my fender out here, so it makes it a little easier to see, but if you just lay under here, you can reach and spin the face, not just the pulley here. Actually grab a hold of the face and spin that and see if it's locked up. You'll know it because it won't be able to budge, but that thing is turning freely. So unless something got caught in the belt, then I don't see any reason other than it just being its time and it got dry rot. I don't really know how old the belt is. Like I said, when I put it back on here, I had done an engine change on this and I thought the belt was fine, but it's only been on here a couple weeks and it's coming apart. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and work on getting this other one. Like I said, so far I've been able just to work from up here, getting the old belt. I slipped it down below that tensioner there and just got it off there. We're going to go ahead and work the new one in place. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to do is get it slipped on to that crank down there, as you can see. Now, said it would be easier if you take your inner fender flap out. I had mine out previously and I just hadn't put them back. There's a reason it's out, but if you look through down here, you can easily reach under here and kind of get the stuff a little bit easier. I mean, you could get it from the top, just a little more difficult in slipping it around there. You'll also note I've just placed loosely a zip tie through that crank right there just to hold that in place. No big deal. Said you could even get under here with the flap. You're just going to have to crawl under to kind of see what you're doing and placing that. But with it out, you can kind of see more what's going on. I can see Got to make sure that that belt's on the AC compressor. I got the zip tie to hold it there. I don't really have a way of zip tying this, or I could hold it there, but if it slips off I'll have to readjust it. So it's definitely a little easier to see what you're doing and everything when you got this inner plastic fender out. But that's the first thing I've done, is slipped it on there. I've got it kind of run around the compressor there, and it's just up close to the alternator there. You can see I just got it kind of pulled up there. I'm going to grab a hold of it. Once we get the tension off this, there's a couple of ways you can get a hold of this tensioner. You could use a crescent wrench. You can get a hold of it here, of that nub, and you can pull it back. You pull towards the front of the vehicle, and you're going to go just as far as you can go. Or you could use a ratchet with a 3/8, which I'm going to slip in here now, and we'll go ahead and start adjusting it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to start out way back up here, and I'm going to pull it all the way up here just as far as I can pull it till it quits moving. I'm going to need every bit of that slack to get this. So that's as far, I can tell that's as far as it's going to go right there. Once I get it as far as I'm going to go, I'm going to slip down over my hand. You could also tie a string around it to make it a little easier or something, or grab it with something to keep you from having to reach down in with your hand there. Okay, so I'm just going to try to show you here, and we'll see how much trouble this is going to be pulling this back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start pulling this forward as far as I can get it. Okay, and it slipped on there without too much difficulty there. And now I'm just going to kind of double check it. Go ahead and remove my ratchet here. And you really do need kind of a slim one, because I'm getting hung up here where it's ended up, so it might be better to use the crescent if you don't have anything real slim. Okay, so I've just come from underneath. I'm just checking the crank, checking to make sure it's on the AC. Everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and snip that zip tie right there off, and we'll be about finished up here. Okay, I actually did figure out what the problem was. If you can see this Freon line here, I've got a zip tie going like through the metal part of that frame, holding that over. For whatever reason, I don't know if there's a clip missing or what happened, but the protective sleeve on that Freon line there was like right up against where the belt was, and it was just rubbing on that enough to get it to start fraying. So I've got that pulled over there now, so I don't know if there's a clip missing or what happened, but it was like right up next to it there. So I got that kind of zip tied over there safely out of the way now. So this should be all good. I'm just going to fire it up and see how it does here. Okay, so we got it cranked up, everything running here. And it looks like everything is working smoothly. Okay, that's going to do it for this video on replacing this serpentine belt. Like I said, it could have been a lot worse. Could have been farther from home and broke down, and that could have been an issue right there. So I was definitely happy that I was just down the road, and literally just a seconds from the house. So anyways, we got that fixed. It's a pretty easy task. The longest thing will just be waiting on the vehicle to cool off before you can get in there and mess with it, because you want to let it cool down for several hours. So anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and as always, I invite you to subscribe. Thanks for watching.